Support for Lab Out Loud is provided by the National Science Teachers Association. Find out more at nsta.org. You're listening to Lab Out Loud, Science for the Classroom and Beyond. I'm your co-host Dale Basler.
And I'm Brian Bartel.
And for this episode, we're sharing a conversation Brian had with a special guest. It's someone who spends her time doing activities that many 10-year-olds are doing.
I've been doing gymnastics for 4 years. I do piano. I do a program called the Math Circle. I'm a big sister to a 5-year-old and 2 babies. They're twins.
That's Elaina Garg, and unlike your typical 10-year-old, she's done something you might not expect.
I wrote the organic coloring book.
This accomplishment makes Elena a standout when it comes to guests that we've had here on Lab Out Loud.
Elena, you are our youngest guest ever on the show.
What do you think? Yeah, she was looking a little nervous when I showed her Bill Nye and Neil deGrasse Tyson on your list.
You're on the list with them. Yeah. This is the first time we've had a 10-year-old. I actually have a 10-year-old son and a 10-year-old daughter. They're twins. So I'm assuming you're in 5th grade then, Elena?
Yes.
Okay.
And that other voice you hear Brian talking to was Elena's father, Neil.
My name's Neil Garg. I'm a father of 4. I'm a teacher and a researcher at UCLA, so I'm a full professor there. And for what we're talking about, I guess I'm a co-author on a lot of things, including the organic coloring book.
Well, fantastic. So where did the idea of the organic coloring book come about?
Well, my younger sister, Kaylie, she would come home from school and point to something and say, "Does that have chemicals in it?" And she thought that chemicals were a bad thing, and we wanted to show her that chemicals could actually be really good things. And we wanted everyone to know that chemicals were actually good things and not think of chemicals in a bad way. So we wrote this coloring book so that it could be a fun thing that kids could color and that they could understand that chemicals are good.
Yeah, you actually have the line underneath at the bottom that says, a coloring book to help kids discover the awesomeness of organic chemistry.
Yeah.
So you also have credit on this book, the organic coloring book, with your sister, Kaylie. That's the 5-year-old sister, right?
Yeah.
Okay, because we don't want to leave her out of this either.
Yeah.
So what chemicals did you choose, and why did you choose those?
Well, we chose, the first one was sucrose, which is what makes sugar sweet. So we thought that would be, really important, and we just wanted everybody to know that, without chemicals, there wouldn't be sugar, so.
Yeah, and
also Kaylie loves it.
Oh, yes, well... so what other chemicals did you include besides sucrose?
Well, we included 2,5-dimethylpyrazine, which makes bacon smell good. That's my favorite chemical.
Oh, yeah, I like that one too.
Yeah, we included acetylsalicylic, which is medicine.
Acetylsalicylic acid.
Acetylsalicylic acid. We included chlorophyll, which makes leaves green. And there's cyanidin, which makes blueberries blue or deep purple.
Okay.
And Kaylie also really likes blueberries.
Okay.
We included sodium lauryl sulfate, which makes bubbles.
Yeah.
Citric acid makes lemons and limes sour. There's caffeine in coffee.
You drink a lot of that, right?
No.
No, good.
And there's 1-sulfonylpropane, which is what makes onions make your eyes water. Cellulose, it's the cotton in our clothes. Beta-carotene, which makes carrots orange. And capsaicin, which makes peppers hot.
Okay.
And there's protein in milk and eggs and other dairy products.
All right. So were there any chemicals that didn't make the book that you wanted to include?
Maybe you have to do a little research for volume 2 on that one?
Well, I remember one that Elena really wanted to know all of the chemicals in Nutella.
Oh, that's a good one.
But there are a lot of chemicals there. So
that's a book in itself.
Yeah, exactly. So I think we looked up a few of them, but I don't know if I think we decided we wanted a little bit for everybody, so we didn't want to go too hard on the sugary stuff.
Okay. So
request from Mom.
So what else did you learn from doing this, Elena?
I learned that chemicals are all around us, and we wouldn't survive without chemicals. And they're very important, and they're not just bad.
Okay.
Like in school, I'm learning all this stuff about chemicals and like a bunch of things that bad that are happening are like because of chemicals. But chemicals can actually be really good.
Yeah.
And they're really important.
Absolutely. I'm noticing, obviously, this is a coloring book. So did you learn anything about, like, coloring chemicals a certain way? Like, did some things, were they supposed to be certain colors?
I don't think so. Well, I think the idea is that each atom is supposed to be a different color representing a different thing.
Okay.
And, yeah.
But it's okay if you color outside the lines here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's good. So now, Kaylie also helped out with some of this, and she liked the blueberries part of it. What was her favorite chemical?
Sucrose.
Sucrose? Yeah.
That makes sugar sweet.
That's right.
Yeah.
And Dad, Neil, what did you learn during this?
Well, I learned that kids will color anything, and if they're willing to color anything, they may as well be coloring these cool chemical structures and learning something in the process. This was a lot of fun to put together. I think, for me, it started as just an activity to do with my kids to help them see it, and it just seemed that we should share this with other people. Both of the girls really love art. They're really great artists, and they like to color. Mm-hmm. So that was the natural way to do this. So I certainly learned that they will color anything, and then you can start teaching very basic things about chemistry at a young age. As Elena said, most often you hear about chemicals in a bad way, maybe things like addiction, explosions,
pollution,
Mm-hmm.
Right? But the bottom line is we can't live without these organic molecules in many cases, and we thought people should know that. And I've heard a lot of, not just kids, but a lot of parents, I think, enjoy reading the book to their kids and learning a little bit. I think it shows a deficiency in my field in not making chemistry like this accessible to people beyond people who study it for a living.
Yeah, I like that. Now, did you learn anything from the perspective of doing this as a children's book that you could apply towards your adult fields?
I think this was also an exercise in simplicity, right? To make it something that a kid could enjoy or get something out of. All the text had to be, pretty concise. And I think that was something that, just a general thing that all of us struggle with is coming up with concise ways to explain complicated things.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I think that's definitely something I took away from this, how it's important for people to do that, and generally for my field to do that to a much greater extent.
Mm-hmm.
To have people understand what organic chemistry is, even at a very basic level. Most people don't know that. Mm-hmm. So I think it was a good wake-up call and reminder that people in my field should be doing this. And it's not impossible. It's certainly not impossible to do, and it's actually not that hard to do. So I would put out a call to anybody in my field to take on initiatives like this and see what they can do to help make something that's traditionally viewed as amazingly complicated, that the fact that it can be made accessible to other people, even in very simple ways.
Well, we've definitely seen a call in the last decade or two for an increase in science literacy and bringing science to more of a public, or viewing science through a public lens. And, a lot of times that, it translates into writing or maybe some kind of reading or even a video that you do. But this has a whole new take on that.
That's right. Yeah, this was, meant to be something very simple and captures the innocence of children, right? Children love to color. It's such a simple idea for what they could do and hopefully get something out of.
Mm-hmm. So you do get feedback from adults because adult coloring seems to be catching on lately. We see that adult coloring books in bookstores and online for like iPad apps and things like that. So have you gotten feedback from adults about that?
Sure. So I think some, we give away these copies by the 100. And so I'll always tell people, like, please take one, give it to a child. But if you don't have a child in your life and you'd like to color, apparently this goes well with a glass of wine. And it's good for the soul to enjoy coloring like this. My students are the ones who, graduate students, help me realize how popular adult coloring books have become. It's something I didn't completely appreciate. So they do have a running shared Excel list. These are my PhD students, a running shared Excel list of molecules to be incorporated in the adult coloring organic coloring book if it's ever comes to life.
Yeah, things like what makes the red wine red, and that kind of the caffeine definitely fits in that one as well.
Yeah, exactly. They have all sorts of ideas, that border on the types of things I want my name associated with or not.
Sounds good. So do you have any plans for future books?
Not at the moment. What do you think, Elena? You want to do another book?
I would like to.
Yeah, what would it be? We did think about this being, sort of a volume 1 type of, like a volume 1, and then maybe do specialty books after that. So we've given it some thought, but I don't know if we have any concrete plans. I think I'd more hope that this would serve as a call to other people in my field to do similar things. But if Elena wanted to do one, I think she could do an awesome job with it with her sister. But my guess is what would you do, Elena? Like, what would be like a topic? Like, I was thinking we could do like, Cheesy the Mouse Goes to the Doctor's Office or something like that, right? And covering different things so kids aren't scared to go to the doctor or the dentist. We've talked about maybe sports could be a good one. We could do more with foods and fruits and vegetables. Candy.
An inorganic coloring book, too, would be a good one where you'd have things like salt and water and things like that.
That would also be very cool. Yeah, you can do the inorganic coloring book. So I think there's no shortage of what could be done for this. And I also say if anybody's interested in doing something like this, it's not as hard as it seems to put a book together like this these days where self-publishing is an option.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Neil and Elena, and I look forward to it. My son's down here, and he was looking over my shoulder, so he looks interested too. It looks like so. Hopefully, we'll get a couple colorings out of him as well. But thank you so much for your time, and we look forward to seeing what the book has to offer.
Great, thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
If you'd like to learn more about the organic coloring book, or you'd like to get one for yourself, head on over to our website, laboutloud.com, for more information. You can also find details about this episode and all the previous episodes, and you can leave us feedback and comments. We want to hear from you.
If you enjoyed the show, make sure you've subscribed on iTunes, Google Play Music, or your favorite podcasting platform. And if you really enjoyed it, consider leaving us a rating or a review. Your feedback helps others find our show.
If you like Lab Out Loud and you love the show that we provide for you, please consider supporting the show at our Patreon page. Head on over to patreon.com/laboutloud for more information. Until next time, I'm Dale Basler.
And I'm Brian Bartell.